Okay, we'll be like in about a minute. So as I was saying, here it goes. Good evening. Welcome to Our Voice, and this is a conversation for students by students. My name is Evelyn Alaman. I'm the founder of this initiative on Facebook and Instagram. And tonight is a conversation about, checking in spring semester, current events, and how students are coping and, what's new. And I'm happy to introduce you to a group of amazing, college students and recent grads who are going to lead tonight's conversation. So take it away.
Well, I just wanted to say, thank you so much for joining us today. This dialogue is just going to be about how our online semester has gone, any struggles that you feel like you're going through. This is a safe space to talk about them. And also, hopefully you're able to uplift another person, or somebody else is able to uplift you and relate to another student. So without further ado, let's begin the conversation.
Hey guys, I'm Amanda. I am a recent graduate from Pepperdine University, and I'm a contributor here at Our Voice. Bethlehem, Candlin, and Camila are also a part of Our Voice. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves really quick?
Yeah, my name is Candlin, and I go to Cal State LA. I'm a senior right now, and I also contribute to our Facebook page group and our new Instagram account.
And then I'm Bethlehem. I also contribute to the Facebook page and the Instagram, and then help find tips and resources and put that up. And then I go to CSULA, and it is my third year.
So I'm Camila, and I'm basically the baby of the group. I'm the youngest, and I'm the Spanish contributor. So I find resources for Spanish-speaking parents and the Latino community, and I help with the Instagram as well. So, yeah.
Great. Okay.
And I'm going to interrupt real quickly. I think the group is small enough that we can probably introduce each other. Everyone can introduce themselves. Do you think it's a good idea?
Yeah, if everyone wants to.
Okay, sure. All right, how about we popcorn? So I'm going to popcorn it over to Lucy Macias.
Hi, my name is Lucy. I am a junior in high school, and I'm excited to be a part of this discussion.
Did you want to say who is going next, Lucy?
Oh yeah, my bad. Okay, Julia, you can go next.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm a junior at Reed College. I'm majoring in political science, and I'm also really excited to be here. Wait, okay, Maria.
Hi, everyone. Good to see y'all. My name is Maria. I'm a junior at Pepperdine University, majoring in integrated marketing communications. And yeah, I'm really excited to speak with y'all about this topic. I'll popcorn it to Madeline.
Hello, my name is Madeline Cruz. I'm a first year at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo studying architecture. I was actually here in winter for one of these dialogues, so I'm very excited to contribute to another one. Thank you for having me back. And popcorn to Vicky.
Hi everyone, my name is Vicky. I'm a fourth year at Dominguez Hills, majoring in human services with a concentration in mental health recovery, and I'm excited to be here again. I'll popcorn it to Victoria.
Hi everyone, my name is Victoria. I go to Cal State LA, and I'm majoring in psychology and minoring in child development, and it's my last semester. And I'll popcorn Samantha.
Hi everyone, my name is Samantha, but you guys can call me Sam. I'm a freshman at Cal State LA, and I'm majoring in political science, and I'm very excited to be here today. I'll popcorn it to Frankie.
Hello, I'm Frankie, and this is my first time here, and I'm a culinary major at COC. I'll popcorn to Miracle.
Hi, my name is Miracle, and I'm a sophomore at COC and I major in psychology. And I'm also excited to be here. And I'll popcorn to Dania.
Hi, I'm Sonia. I'm a freshman at UCSD majoring in international business. I'm currently having my first meal of the day right now, and I'll popcorn at Angel Chan.
Hi, I'm Angel. I am a freshman at UC Santa Cruz and I'm majoring in art history. So I'll popcorn to Frankie? Yeah.
I think Frankie already went. Was that everyone?
I think Alyssa and Omar, is that correct? Yeah. Okay. Alyssa, do you want to go first?
Hi, my name is Alyssa. I'm a senior in high school, and this is my first time attending one of these meetings, so I'm excited to hear everyone's contributions.
Welcome. Omar?
Hi, I'm Omar. I am a sophomore at ELAC, and my major is kinesiology, and my second time attending one of these meetings.
Welcome. And I think we have Faith, who's just now joining. So I think she's just connecting. Faith, are you there? I think we have Faith. Not sure. Okay, but she's gonna try to connect. Okay, sorry about that. Keep going.
I think that was everyone. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with our first question. So this is open to everyone, just anyone who wants to answer. Feel free to unmute yourself and join in.
I'm sorry. I apologize. We have two more guests.
Okay.
I apologize. Yesenia, do you want to introduce yourself? Sorry about that.
Okay, it's okay. My name is Yesenia. I am a librarian, a bilingual outreach librarian with the Los Angeles Public Library. And I am happy to be here. Hopefully I can share some resources that'll help you out.
Thank you so much. And then Faith, would you like to introduce yourself? Faith, you're muted. If you would like to introduce yourself, this is a safe space.
Okay, hi. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties.
No worries.
I'm Faith. I'm currently a freshman in college. I don't really know what else to say.
Say your major and the school you attend.
Oh, I go to UC Santa Cruz and I'm a marine bio major.
Wow. All right. Well, welcome, Faith. Okay, Amanda, sorry. I won't interrupt, I promise.
It's okay. Well, thank you everyone for introducing yourselves. We're going to start with our first question. Like I said, this is general, so anyone who wants to jump in, feel free to unmute yourself and begin the conversation. So the first question we have is, did any of you guys do anything different this winter break? Anything fun, exciting?
Yes, I'll go. I did something different, just it wasn't fun, maybe exciting. I applied to grad school. So it was something new. It's way different than applying as for undergrad. So I'm just hoping for the best.
Yeah, well, good luck with all that. I'm sure everyone here is wishing you luck and hoping for the best for you.
You got
Where
this.
did you apply?
Thank you.
Where did you apply?
Oh, where did I apply? I applied to Cal State LA and Dominguez Hills.
Yeah, I can second that. That's amazing. I wish you all the best of luck. Yeah, okay, so I go to Pepperdine and normally we don't get super long breaks. You probably can relate, Amanda. But yeah, this year we got 2 months off. So the big different thing that I did this break is I rested. I'm resting currently, and I'm just trying to self-care as much as I can and spend a lot of quality time with family that you normally get during the holidays, but not as much, for 2 months. So I'm really grateful.
That's awesome. I'm glad you took that 2 months because she's right. Pepperdine usually does not give us very long winter breaks. So I'm glad you're resting. Does anyone else want to chime in? If not, we can move to the next question.
Okay. So, on how they keep up with mental health and self-care and like any advice they would give someone else. Like, I think.
Did everyone hear the question? Because I know that, yeah, okay, let's try it again, Bethlehem.
Can you hear it?
In and out.
Okay. Hold on.
So, and before she does that, there's no format really. They're just kind of throwing out questions to kind of get the conversation going. But once it gets going, it's hard to stop, just so you know. So feel comfortable to like jump in. If that's not a question for you, it's totally okay.
Can you guys hear the echo? Like, is it clear? Is there an echo?
There's an echo.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so the question was, how do you guys keep up with your self-care and mental health? And do you have advice for like other people?
I
think I could go.
absolutely do.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. As somebody who didn't get into self-care until like my 30s, because it was always an excuse, right? Because I'm a single mother with 3 kids. And there was like, oh, I don't want to leave my kids behind to go to a yoga class. I don't want to do all these things. But taking the time for myself allowed me to be a better person, because once I allowed myself to rest, I can come back like reinvigorated. And like I'm always telling people, like, you really have to take this time for yourself, because I'm the type of person that's like a perfectionist. So I just kind of like run. But at a certain point, you just hit a wall, and then you just like having to rebuild yourself up after like just like falling is a lot harder than taking little moments every single day to take time for yourself. So that's just something I'm almost 40. I mean, this is how long it took me to learn that. So I hope I'm glad to hear that you guys learned it early.
Can I ask a question about that actually? So you're saying like you're just learning it like as you got older. So when you were younger, did you just not do it or just avoided it, or how did that work?
I put myself through school. I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of time. I became a mother when I was 24. I was a student. I had my second daughter when I was a grad student. And then I had my third son, my third child, like right when I became like a career person. I was married for a while. I had the responsibility of a home and a career and school and kids. And I have a job that's really challenging. And I just kept making excuses. I can't do it. And then I literally could not do it anymore because I overworked myself and my body just gave out. So I couldn't work for 2 years. And in that process, I learned that just I meditate as well. Like every single morning I wake up and I meditate for 20 minutes. I exercise 5 to 6 times a week now. I watch what I eat, and it changes like your perception on life. You just have more energy. I'm happier. And literally 20 minutes of meditating in the morning changes my entire day. Instead of like jumping out of bed, it's like, oh my God, I got to do all these things.
Kendallin, did you have something?
Oh, I was gonna say for me, I think TikTok videos kind of help me out. Yeah, they're funny. Anybody else? What do you guys do?
Kind of to what Yesenia was saying, I think meditation is like really, really important, and it really does like change your entire day. Like I can feel how I feel differently in a day that I meditate compared to a day that I don't meditate. So like really just taking that time to like just think or like not think or just like spend time with yourself is like really, really crucial to your health.
Quick question. So I really agree with that, with all the everything talking about meditation. It's also really, really great for memory. So I think that's really amazing. Does anyone have any like recommendations as to what platforms for meditation they use and that they would recommend? I'd really like to get into that for self-care reasons, but also definitely for like memory and helping with schoolwork and things like that.
So this summer this
No, go,
summer
go.
I took a mindfulness class at UCLA. It's open to everybody. I took it with no credit, so it's like $1,000 cheaper than the other class, and it transformed the way I meditate. And the UCLA has a mindfulness research center. It's called the MARC, and they have an app. So if you look at MARC UCLA, there's an app, and it's like really helpful because they're scientists. So they're philosophers and they're scientists teaching you about meditation.
What is the class called, Jasenia?
It's a psychiatry class entitled Mindfulness, I believe. It literally transformed my life. I would take it every single quarter if it was offered every quarter. It was only offered in the summer. There was like 175 people in the class. It was incredible. Meditation allows you to gain so much clarity from yourself. Like there was things that I hadn't thought about for 20 years. And it's like, oh, that's the reason I behave that way now, because something happened 20 years ago that formulated the way I saw myself, the way I saw the world. And I mean, Miracle, how old are you? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm 21.
Yeah, like that's like, she's like light years ahead of everybody else. Like mindfulness and meditation really transformed my life.
Someone, Danya Geppert, did I say that right, Danya? I hope I did.
It's Gopert.
Gopert, thank you for correcting me. She said Eternal Sunshine app.
Yes.
How do you use that app?
So I don't really use the app that much, but it has like, well, there's like meditation exercises, and I don't really meditate. I just do yoga, but I like when I have the notifications on, they have notifications that like go out to everyone that just like appear on your phone screen. And it's just like stuff to like, that makes you stop and think about like, where you are right now and like just appreciating the present and like remember to breathe and stuff like that.
Oh, and one last thing. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with the Headspace app. I use it every single day. And because of COVID, it was free for all of 2020. I think it's still free this year because I still have it for free. It's normally $70 a year, but if you look up like Headspace/LA County, you can get it for free. I love it. Music when I'm working, meditation, like classes. It's super cool. All right, I'm not gonna dominate the conversation anymore. This is just my jab.
Camila, did you want to share something?
Yeah, I also use Headspace, and it's a great app. I do like 1 to 2 minute meditations in the morning, and then recently I've been doing like 10-minute meditations. So I've been kind of working my way up. And the meditations I use, I kind of find them off of Spotify, like guided meditations. Those help. And I also listen to like the Tibetan Bowl playlist when I do yoga, and that just helps me concentrate so much, and I love it. Also, I recommend this app for I like to journal. I go in between journaling on paper or journaling on my phone, and this app is called Jour. I don't know if you can see it. It's called Jour. You can't see it, but I'll type it in the chat because here it is. Jour. Oh no, I sent that to someone. Everyone, Jour. Okay, there you go. Jour. And it's just it's a free app. However, you can pay for a membership and it'll give you like different exercises. However, I like doing the journaling, just the basic journaling, which they just ask you questions like, okay, take a time to reflect on what made you feel good today, what's something you can change for tomorrow and the future and stuff. And it like blows off steam for me, so I'm able to express myself, and I highly recommend it. So that's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah. And I think Miracle has her hand up.
Yeah, I was just also gonna say, I also use the Headspace app, and I have like for the past year, and it has helped me a lot because they do have like daily like guided meditation. So like the beginning is like him telling you like what the topic of the day is, and then you just like go through like different exercises, and there's like videos to like tell you different meditation exercises, and there's also like things to help with sleeping, like little sounds and like clips that you can play. And I also wanted to say, someone did mention Spotify as well. And I know that they have, for like mine at least, they make like daily wellness playlists. So it's like different like podcasts in between like the regular music you listen to. So I think that's like a cool way to like kind of incorporate like thinking and meditation into like your everyday routine.
Yeah, I have to add that I use Headspace, by the way, to go to sleep when I can't sleep. And I put the sounds of the ocean, and my husband kept hearing sounds, and he thought it was the cat snoring. And it took him a while to realize he would shake. He shook the alarm clock. He went around shaking stuff around the house because he didn't know it was coming from my cell phone. So it does work.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
Did anyone else want to go before we move on?
Yeah, I think a big thing for me, like obviously these are really good like mindfulness techniques, but I found like another
Okay, I think
important
we're
thing
good.
is movement. So I've been trying to like get out and like walk more, especially after like I have a 3-hour class from noon to 3 almost every day. So it's like right at the end of that, I'm like going outside, whether I'm walking to get food or like going to the post office. Like, oh, I moved into the dorms. So there's like places to actually go. Safely, of course, but it's just been really good. And I found that like it really boosts my productivity because like if I sit down and just try to work, I won't, or like I'll find every reason to be distracted. But if I go out and just take like a 10-minute walk, it's like a nice reset, kind of get some fresh air. So I definitely recommend that. I feel like walks are really underrated. So
Does anybody do anything else for mental health or self-care?
Oh, something else I was going to add, kind of piggybacking off of Camila's recommendation about journaling, is I got this idea off of TikTok, or like I saw it on a TikTok where it's like you use this app called 1 Second every day, and you take like a small like second long video of like a random part of your day, and it's just like a way to journal it in a very minuscule way. But I've been doing it since the new year started, and it's really cute to look back at and like see all the little seconds I liked of each day or that I didn't like or what was normal. So that's really strangely comforting and a little creative. So that's something self-care-ish that I do.
Vicky has her hand up.
Yeah, I just want to share like the things that I do for myself. I like to DIY a lot of things. So I'll just look at different videos like TikTok as well. That's the main thing today. So it's like I look at that and I incorporate my own things, and then reorganizing. I love reorganizing and like setting up things, seeing how they go. And the movement just helps. And also I like baking and cooking. So that helps. And then like I used to like going out, but due to the pandemic, it's like restricted. So I'll go get to the grocery store, and then any chance I have that I need to go out, I would. But I also like limit it since as we can. But yeah, like doing things that make me happy and like putting myself first is very important because like Yesenia said, like I'm always on the go when we're in class, it's always on the go. You never really know when to stop. And you have to take that step back and realize like there's so much that my body could take, my mental health can take, that we need to take a step back and realize, okay, let's focus on me. What can I do for me? Even though it's like 10 minutes a day or like 20 or anything to help you.
Wait, quick question, Vicky. What's your favorite thing to bake?
I like making cake pops, but I've been recently getting, like I said, I like to do things. So I've seen these churro cheesecakes. So I'm gonna try to make those tomorrow, see how they come out. But yeah, I just anything that's sweet, which is not good as well. But like, when there's parties, I'll bring the treats. Don't worry, like I got it.
Anybody else?
I just
wanted. Oh, go ahead, Camila.
Say that's awesome, Vicky, and this is also another form of self-care, having these conversations with each other. And I congratulate everybody who's here, because this was the main focus of our conversation, was just to have a mental health talk about self-care and the things that we're doing and helping uplift each other. And I see that happening, and I congratulate you all. Thank you so much. Kudos to all of you for being here. And like, I just want to say, like, I guess you guys are loved because this is a small community where we're talking about the things that are helping us to help each other. So thank you.
I was just gonna add, now I feel like it's silly after what Camila just said, a really nice, wonderful thing. But I was just gonna say that one of my favorite things along like what Vicky was saying is like just getting out of the house for a small moment can really help. So what I've been doing is I go to Target late at night when it's like less crowded, so I'm not like as worried about like being as many people around. And I just like get whatever small little things I need and just like enjoy the moment at Target because I just miss having like the normal moments, I guess, of life. So it's a way to just kind of like get out of the house, avoid people, and still feel like pre-COVID times. So it sounds like silly, but it's a good little moment to get out.
I could agree with you, Amanda. I like Target runs.
Yep.
Anybody else? No? Okay, we're gonna move on to the next question. So for this one, it's how have the current social issues that we have experienced made you feel, such as the riots, the events that happened at the Capitol, the inauguration, the vaccine, and just the amount of cases that have gone up? Does anybody want to share?
I'll go. So I don't know if anyone watched the inauguration. I didn't watch the inauguration, but like since then I've been like seeing a lot of things on Twitter and like online, and it's making me more hopeful for the future, I guess. I don't know. I'm just kind of excited to see like where we go from here, especially since like it kind of feels like we're at a very low point. So I'm excited to see what happens.
I didn't really see it neither. I just kind of seen like a bunch of memes and stuff like that. But yeah.
Bernie Sanders meme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Lucy, you want to go?
Yeah.
You go.
So I've had a couple conversations about like the storming at the Capitol in like my U.S. history class, and just like kind of like where like all my peers are as like students, seeing or high school students, seeing like how far they got into the Capitol. It was kind of just, we were all just kind of taken back. And as we were expressing like our anger, I guess, about the situation, we all kind of felt like we were really embarrassed. That we were like really embarrassed about just the fact that, I don't know, embarrassed that at the, like in the last like 13 days of Trump's presidency, he was able to like create so much chaos. And as students, I don't know, so like some students were like sharing how they kind of felt like helpless. Like, what do you do in this situation? And how do you like explain that you're not, as an American, you're not a part of this? And like, I don't know, it was really shocking.
Yeah, I was going to say that like as a political science major, this is what I study, and it's just like completely unprecedented, unlike anything I've ever studied in my past like 3 years. Just following like political like tracks and methods and processes. I'm learning a lot from everything that's happening. How quickly an impeachment can happen. How much progress we can make and have it become undone in a matter of like a day. There was something really shocking about getting those historic wins in Georgia with the flipping of the Senate, getting a first Black senator from Georgia, and Jewish senator as well, and then looking at the footage on the exact same day of people wearing anti-Semitic garb and Confederate flags. So it's remarkable to see just how much we're going forward and also backwards. So it really is a divided time, unlike anything I think many people have ever studied. But there's just a lot going on. So it can be quite overwhelming in that sense.
I can add like back to the, when you asked the original question, like one of the first things that came to my mind, that it's kind of stressful for me, the amount of cases that are like increasing like day after day. Like I see the numbers like of COVID just increasing in my area. My county is like at 0%. I'm sure I'm in Ventura County, so I'm not sure where everyone is, LA County area, somewhere around there. But it's definitely, there's a lot of spread and cases, and it's just like stressful. And for me, I have to stay healthy in order to go to work. And so since I have a dog walking business, and so if I am sick, I can't walk dogs, I can't, like no one's going to pay me. Like I don't get sick leave because I go and walk dogs. So it's definitely like a stressful time. And I think, everything that we mentioned in the previous couple questions about like self-care, just it shows how important it is in such a high, like tense time in my life. So I think it just kind of points to the fact that it's really important to take care of yourself right now.
Kind of piggybacking off of what Amanda said, just the amounts of cases is insane. And it's really scary. Like this past week, my family and I, we had a COVID scare because my dad, one of his coworkers actually was tested positive. So my dad, we put him in quarantine in an office that we have detached from our house. And we were just so scared because when like this virus is so deadly, like it really could like kill someone, it like, the amounts of like deaths that have occurred from it. And it's really scary because without like my dad, I'm really close with my dad, and like I just felt like super scared, and like I didn't express it in the best way. Like at first I was kind of mad at him. I was like, why are you going to work? But then I was like, no, he has to go to work, and then like it was just like, okay, go into the office. Like I was kind of, I don't know why I was so upset at him, because I think it's because like my family, we just take so much precaution when it comes to like, COVID-19. We're like, we've been like social distancing. We don't really hang out with anybody. It's everything's like over the phone and stuff. And I like rarely see my friends. So, because I don't want to bring anything into the house because my parents are older. So I don't want to risk anybody either. So it's just like the amounts of cases, they're just alarming, and it's really scary, and I just hope none of you guys get infected or anything like that. So, yeah.
Is anyone excited for the vaccine, or are people like wary of it? There are like
scared.
arguments for both. I'm scared, but I think I would still do it. And then Danya said that her mom got hers. Does your mom work?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I was just curious.
Go for it. No, go for it.
For Danya, does your mom work like in the medical field? Because I know a lot of people, if they're like frontline workers, that they get their vaccines first and everything.
Yeah, she's a maternity RN, and she just recently got her second dose, and I think like she got a fever after, but I'm pretty sure she'll be fine. And like, yeah, the COVID cases in her hospital are like really bad. It's really like only like her floor or like unit that isn't really COVID filled because like it's the baby section, but yeah, she has to wear a lot of like layers, like mask and then goggles and like a face shield and all that, like for 12 or 14 hours a day.
I also want to acknowledge that Yesenia wrote, LA County is the epicenter of COVID. 1 in 3 people have it or have had it. And then Madeline Cruz said, a couple of my friends and some parents I know actually got the vaccine, and I'm hopeful about it.
And I mean, I want to say also, like currently my mom and my sister have it, and my brother and his wife had it a few weeks ago. So it's not necessarily that it's like a death sentence. You definitely want to be careful because there's like long, there's prolonged problems that happen, but like it's not something that, of course you have to worry, but the number of people who are dying from it is not representative of the people who are getting it. So thankfully, like children aren't as susceptible to the symptoms, which is what I found relief in. Like if there's any silver lining, it's like at the very least, like children aren't feeling the experience the way other people are. Like I thought I was gonna freak out. Like the idea of anybody I know having it, I thought I was just gonna like lose it. And I've come to terms that I was like, oh, like it's okay. We can't control it. There's certain things in your life that you just can't control. We all took the precautions. Unfortunately, they got it. But once they have it, I have to stay calm because there's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, real quickly. Gracie's
Yeah, go for it.
grandma is getting the vaccine soon. I'm just in the chat. Sorry, go ahead, Julie.
Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling a bit conflicted about vaccines for like a multitude of reasons. Like there's just so much going on with them. But one being that I read today, and I think it was in the LA Times, that vaccine distribution has gone really slow, a lot more slowly than anticipated. And I'd read this before, since testing was really slow and had a lot of faults, that many strategists were worried about vaccine distribution being like dangerously slow. And so seeing that is really disheartening. Seeing that everybody might not be vaccinated at this rate in LA if until 2022, if we continue at this pace, according to Mayor Garcetti. So that's pretty worrisome. And then I also think about the equity aspect of it when we're talking about vaccine distribution on an international scale. Something just, it doesn't quite sit right being in a developed country and knowing that other more developing and less socioeconomically advantaged countries aren't going to be gaining the vaccine as quickly, or won't have first dibs as much as we do. That's kind of difficult to think about, because it just feels like each nation's in their own little bubble of like trying to get through COVID. Especially when we know that like a lot of the cases that are happening were hugely unnecessary in the first place. It kind of makes me wonder, like, oh, are we deserving of getting these vaccines first? So, which I feel like we are and we aren't. It's quite conflicting to think about. And then on a more personal like level, I already know a couple people who've gotten a vaccine in my age range, and it can feel a little conflicting when you think about these are people who've been out and about. Ironically, they're biology majors in preparation for becoming doctors and nurses. And they've been going to parties and have not been acting responsibly, and maybe have not been staying at home as much as they could have. So there's that part of me that's kind of like, oh, like, but why are they getting a vaccine first? So I feel pretty conflicted about like all of like vaccines and distributions. I don't know if anybody's feeling similarly, but there's just a lot to think about there.
Yes, I agree with you, Julia. It's really conflicting, like how you said, thinking about other countries who are not getting it. Like I talked to my family in Mexico, and they have to pay to get a test, and I'm like, people don't even have money. Like my people are from a small town. They're not from a city, so they don't even have a testing center close to them. And many people, well, over there in their little town, they're like, whatever, they're going out and about of their day. But if people do go, I don't want them to get them sick, right? So it's something that we worry about. And also, like you said, the people who are going to parties at this time, who are young, especially for me, like I have a problem with influencers right now at the moment. Influencers are like, and I hate that people like look up to them so much, especially little kids, because I feel like they're not doing their job right as the influencers they are. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. And they're traveling, and I'm like, people judge them, and I feel like they deserve the judgment that they're giving them, right? Because obviously they're getting that judgment because they get to travel, and if they do get sick, they have access to the best medicine, the best doctors. They'll have access to it, right? But us, the low income, we have to stay in our houses because we know we won't have that access to the best medicine, to the best doctors. And it's just sad to see that, like, to think about it and to see that maybe one day we won't ever get that access. Like, even though we're working hard towards our education, we won't be as privileged as them.
Lucy and Samantha agree with you. They're typing in the chat, but they also agree with like the whole influencer thing, because I do see that too. So I understand that.
And Maria agrees too. She says, totally agree.
I think another thing too that kind of like sucks is that like, I guess low income areas, like I live in East LA, so I know we had like a bunch of cases and we still do, but I think it's because too we have like a lot of people in one house. So I know for me, my brother had it, and then before him, my cousin had it, his boyfriend had it, and it's just like there's a lot of us in one house, so it's kind of hard for the other people to not get it. You get me? So I think that's another issue.
And
Yeah,
I just
I
want,
had
oh, you guys can go ahead.
I want to add on to your point, Victoria, that you mentioned initially about like how the privileged and influencers who have more advantages and economic resources will unfairly just kind of be out and about and gain access to healthcare if they need it, immediate healthcare. I read this really interesting article. I think it was in the LA Times about the second the vaccines came out and were meant initially just for the frontliners. I was reading that many medical directors at the major hospitals gaining the vaccines were getting nonstop calls in LA County from celebrities, their personal assistants, the wealthiest of the wealthy, the Los Angeles elite, asking if they like give donations, will they get a vaccine early? When's the earliest they can get vaccines? Private, like really expensive, I guess it's like subscriptions to like private healthcare, like the top tier, like Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, go to this like healthcare center or whatever that's like very specific, and you pay like $35K a year for it. They were already buying up the coolers for the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines well in advance. And the only reason they didn't get like all of the coolers was because the government eventually bought out the rest. But it's just an example of how private elite healthcare, as well as like LA's wealthiest, there's a good chance they're going to get access to that vaccine a lot earlier than we anticipate. So I was even surprised the LA Times covered it, because that seems like such private information that's like quite under wraps. But speaking to your point, Victoria, like 100%, like this is going to be an unfair distribution.
And I just wanted to add that Yesenia said that she grew up in East LA too. And also she added a link in the chat for you can get notified when it's your turn to get a vaccine. So you guys can check that out in the chat. And also I was just going to say earlier, between Julia and Victoria, you guys kind of both have, you know, I really agree with both of what you guys were saying. And it's really hard to know when you're, like, everyone has different comfort levels when it comes to COVID. And I think we've probably all learned that over this past 9 months or whatever. But it's hard when you're at home trying your best, you're doing what you can, and you see other people doing what you wish you could be doing if life was normal, you know? So I think it really does affect, at least me personally, like it affects my mental health, because I'm like, oh, that's so weird. Everyone keeps posting on their Snapchat that they're traveling and partying, and oh, they go to different states so they can eat at restaurants and go to, you know, clubs or bars or whatever. So I definitely agree with you too. It's definitely difficult on your mental health when you're trying your best to stay home and do what you can, when you know there's others who are being extremely irresponsible and, you know, just contributing to the chaos that we've been having for the last 9-10 months. So I definitely agree with you too.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Amanda and our other three speakers have said. And going back to what Candlin?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. What she said about people living like many people living in like one house. Like I totally get that, because I live with my grandparents and we're a family of 7. So my dad and my grandpa, they both work, and my mom's a teacher, so she does the virtual learning with the kids. So like my mom's siblings, like they come over, and she just has one brother and another sister, and they come over to like get mail or like every once in a while. But like I don't know why I feel so bad whenever I do feel this way, but I get so annoyed and so angry when they come in the house. I'm like, can't you just stay outside? Like, we'll bring you your mail. Like, if you want to see her, you have FaceTime, you have WhatsApp. Like, you can FaceTime one of us with iPhones or like an Apple device, and like you could talk to them through there. Like, you don't have to come inside the house. Like, you don't have to come over. Like, it gets me so mad. And then like it was like a birthday. It was like a birthday not that long ago in the family, and my aunt came over and like she stayed in the house for like a while, and I was just like, can you just go home? Like, I appreciate that you're here, and I'm sure they appreciate it too, but we would feel better if you were to just leave it at the door and go. Like, for my friends, for like the holidays, I had baked them like goodies, and I left it in front of my porch, and all they did was they came, picked it up, and left. Like, there was no contact, no nothing. It was just you pick it up and go. And I'm not sure if anybody else feels that way, but I feel so bad that I feel that way. But at the same time, it's just like you just never know. And we've already had 2 COVID scares, one being with my aunt and the other one being with my uncle. So it's just like, it's just very nerve wracking because I have people in my family that are high risk. So it's just like, I don't know. I have very mixed feelings about it.
I don't think you should feel bad though, because at the end of the day, you're just trying to protect your family. You get me? So I don't think you should feel bad about it.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing, Sam. I know that must like it's hard to share really personal information, but I really appreciate it because I think a lot of us can relate to you. And I think a lot of people probably have family members that think differently. And I know a lot of people in my family, we all have conflicting ideas about it. So it's definitely it's a very common issue from what I've seen. So I really appreciate you sharing.
Yeah, and like they don't come often. Like, I don't want you guys think they come often. Like, they don't. But still, it's like when they do, it's just like, oh.
Yeah.
And Vicky raised her hand. She'd raised her hand, and then
Yeah, I just wanted to add on what to Samantha said. Like, I feel the same way. My mom is older and she is diabetic, so she is at the higher risk. And when people like, I feel like it has to do a lot with your culture. Like, from we're Latino, so it's like, families, everything. Like, well, let's get together and this and that. And so when the pandemic started, most of my family lost their jobs, so they had this thing they would come over every Thursday, and it's like we're in a pandemic, like we're trying to avoid being with a huge amount of people. So it's like, why is it now that you want to be with family? Like, if you do care about us, like just stay home. But like when I mentioned the culture background, it's like my mom says like es mal decirles que se vayan, which is says like it's bad to tell them to leave because it makes you look bad. But I'm like, I don't care if it makes me look bad in this situation because I'm looking out for you. I'm looking out for my family. And it's like, if I'm gonna be that bad person in the family, then I am. And that's how it is. But I feel like it's such more like, oh, you can't look like the bad person, you can't do this, you can't do that because they're family. But it's like at the end of the day, it's like regardless of their family, I want to take care of the person that needs to be cared for. And it's sad to say, like, for me, we had 3 deaths in our family due to COVID. And it's sad the fact that it had to come to that for them to realize that is real and we shouldn't be gathering up. But it's like, you didn't take this seriously, and this had to happen for you to realize what you need to do, like the rules that you had to be following. So Samantha, don't feel bad. I'm there with you. Like, I feel the same way. It does like get me annoyed and mad the fact that they don't respect the rules that we set, even though they're the rules that we should be following.
Vicky, thank you so much for sharing. And I'm sure there's something in the chat here saying my condolences for your losses. And I'm sure everyone here is thinking the same thing. And thank you for sharing that. And Yesenia also added that the same thing was happening in her family. She had family members still wanting to get together for barbecues. And so I think it's a very common issue that families are conflicted over this. So thank you so much for sharing, everyone.
I also just wanted to add that it's also a very uncomfortable conversation to have, like, with my friends who are like inviting me to go out, and I just like I've told them like from the beginning, oh, I'm under strict quarantine, but it like I understand why they do it, just like I don't feel excluded, but I'm also kind of like, why are you going out? It's just really uncomfortable to like constantly have these conversations when they're like, oh, we're being safe, but I don't really think they know what that means, because if they were being safe, they wouldn't be going out. So I don't know, it's just a really uncomfortable conversation that I constantly have to have when I see people on my social media who are my friends going out. It's just it's not, it's really uncomfortable. Yeah.
I think this also kind of goes back to what the conversation started with at one point when someone mentioned like influencers and how they tend to have like a really big influence on people our age or in our generation, like Gen X and stuff like, sorry, Gen Z. My bad. Sorry. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, Gen Z, and it like especially in LA. I don't know if everyone's seen like the TikTokers, like especially that group with like Charlie and Dixie and Noah Beck, and why their actions hold like such grave repercussions, especially among like the kids. So I wonder if maybe influencers had made it a bigger item of importance, what that impact would have been, like COVID cases wise. Like would there be less stresses on us with our friends? Like would everybody be staying inside more? Like I think maybe tapping into the influencers might have been an interesting approach that maybe the mayor could have engaged with, or the governor could have engaged with. So that's one thought.
I think Miracle has her hand up.
I was muted, sorry. Yeah, I just had a question for the group about like Corona and like what you think the future of it will be, because like I've kind of like felt like the way that our government is set up, no one, like there's never going to be a time in which like everyone will follow the orders and everyone will stay home. And like even us, like in our house, like we all are like essential workers, so like we still have to go to work and we still have to like interact with like probably thousands of people a day. Like we don't know what they do, we don't know where they go, like we don't know their choices. So like the way that America is set up, like do you think that Corona will ever like go away? Or like if not, then like what do you think the future for us looks like?
I'll answer. I think it will definitely, like, I'm not expecting like this new year to be like the end of a pandemic and like everything goes back to normal. I feel like it's something we have to like heal over like a long period of time, like over several years before we even like get back to a place that was normal. Because right now what we are doing feels normal. Because like when I watch TV or like old movies and they walk into a store, they're not wearing a mask, and I'm like, if for other mask, like they don't have that. And then I have to like remind myself that like we used to do that, like food handlers like didn't wear a mask, stuff like that. So like I think a lot of the stuff that we picked up because of coronavirus, we're still going to have that. Like we're still going to be like extra cautious about like our cleanliness and stuff like that. And I am still hopeful because like we've had like previous pandemics like a long time ago with like whatever else we had before we had a vaccine for it. So I know we won't ever like completely get rid of it, but we will get to a point that's very close to it. Sorry, Camille, you can go.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I agree with you. Like I don't feel like we're gonna be out of the woods completely by the end of the year of this year and stuff. And I do have high hopes that we get back to somewhat normalcy within a few, maybe within like the next 5 years. I'm not an expert or anything, but just at the way this is going, I feel like, yes, we will have a vaccine soon, but I'm no expert. I feel like just the way things are going, I feel people don't really like, how do I say it? Like we won't get back to like normalcy in near time, you know what I mean? And yeah, I agree with Bethlehem. So yeah.
I was just gonna read, Julia said, does anyone panic a little bit when you don't see people wearing masks in movies? And then Samantha agreed, because I get that. And then Madeline said, does anyone have people wearing masks in their dreams? But she heard it was a thing, I guess. I've never had that. There's nobody wearing masks in my dreams. I don't know for other people.
Yeah, no, not me either, but I just feel like people are kind of adjusting, because I have heard like people say like, oh yeah, you even dream of people in masks, and I'm like, what? Like, so the fact that it's like shifted that much in our minds, it's just like crazy to think about. So I was just curious if anybody here.
I just wanted to add that I've had dreams where I'm in the grocery store and people are getting too close to me. And I'm like panicking because I'm like, there's so many people.
You're
So I
getting-
mean, technically, yeah. So I guess technically I was wearing a mask in my dream. So I guess I can say I'm one of those people. I didn't realize it until you kind of wrote that out, but I guess I am dreaming about it. So
I've been having dreams about doing the things that I used to do. I am a big stand-up comedy fan, and I keep having dreams where I'm driving to a show, but I never make it.
Wow. I think Miracle had something to say. I'm not sure.
Oh shoot, I forgot to lower my hand, but I did have something to say actually. I was just gonna like add to the fact that like it's how you and sorry, I forgot her name. I think it's Camilla. Yeah, how you guys were saying like you don't think that it'll ever go back to normal, and how like now feels like normal. And like one thing that I've noticed is like at work, like I know what all those people look like before coronavirus. Like I know what their faces look like, but like now when I don't see a mask on their face, I'm like, oh my gosh, like you look like that, because like we're so like conditioned to like see people with masks. So when you see faces, you're like, oh my god, weird.
Yeah. I also want to piggyback off what you said. Like, you kind of, when you see people without masks, I freak out, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I kind of go, like if I'm walking my dogs and I see a person not wearing a mask coming towards me, like I go across the street to the other sidewalk. And you know, another thing, I see these memes on Twitter a lot where they're like, wow, I can't believe I let people stand so close to me in the grocery store, you know, anywhere at like different places. And I was like, that's kind of true. Like I went to an all girls school, so we're all like super like friendly with each other. Like we share things all the time. And one thing that like I'm guilty of sharing is like my water bottle, and I can't believe I used to do that. Like I was like, whoa, like everybody does that. It's like the culture there. So like we share like hair ties, we share like sweaters, and I'm just like, I'm guilty of it. And now I'm learning, okay, that wasn't good. But then I reevaluate, okay, wow, like I used to do those things, I need to stop. Like I can't do that anymore. You know, I shouldn't. So yeah, that's something I thought was funny. So yeah. And
Yeah,
then-
something I'm hearing. Oh, sorry. Do you want to?
no, I'm
I was gonna say, adding to that, something I've been hearing. I've literally been hearing that same sentiment of like doing all these things before the pandemic that retrospectively it's like really gross. I saw this one TikTok of a girl saying like, "Why do we do bowling? Like you're in there, like you're eating pizza, you're like with your fingers, and then you put those same fingers in the ball everybody uses." Like I was like, that's so true. Like that's disgusting. But it took a pandemic for me to realize that. So I think that's also a pretty interesting sentiment as well.
Julia, I just wanted to add that I worked at a bowling alley for 3 years. Please do not ever stick your fingers in a bowling ball and eat your food directly, because I can tell you that when they clean, I'm pretty sure no one goes in the little finger holes. And I don't even, the amount of people, I saw hundreds of people wearing the same pair of shoes. Like we disinfect it with the spray, but I don't know. I'm
Damn, I
against
never
bowling.
thought of that. Damn.
Should we read? I think we have a couple things in the chat here. Sam says, I told my best friend when people get too close to her at a store to spray them with disinfectant if they don't respect the 6 feet distance. And then Danya is talking about how at school she gets tested every week and she feels like people use their not detected results as an excuse to go out and have gatherings. And then it looks like Maria has to get going. I think she might have left already. But she's saying this conversation has been so amazing and she's looking forward to coming to more of these conversations. You all are amazing. I'm so thankful to hear all your thoughts and perspectives. Thank you to the Our Voice team for putting this together.
I also have to say bye. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you, Candlin, for sharing.
Bye. Thank you for coming.
Okay, it was nice meeting you all. I'm looking forward to meetings in the future. Bye.
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 I also have to go. My Wi-Fi keeps like cutting out. But thank you guys so much. It was very informative and so fun to talk to you guys. Hopefully I can come to more of these.
Thank you.
Definitely
Thank you
have
for
more,
coming. So come back.
All right, bye. Yeah, so this conversation was supposed to end at 7, so like we said, like if you need to go, you can go. Thank you so much for joining, but we're gonna continue for a few more minutes, probably until like 7:20, 7:30. If you guys want to keep having the conversation, we can still continue. Just stay.
And then I think Amanda put our Facebook and our Instagram in the chat if you guys want to, if you have a Facebook, like or follow the Instagram. And then I think the next question was Camilla's.
Yes, that's my question. Okay, so since most things we see in the media are oftentimes negative and have recently been about division amongst the country, what do you think are some ways we can make small changes for the betterment and unity of society? It's kind of loaded, so take your time.
I have one actually. I haven't done it yet, and I don't know exactly, but I know that there are like fridges around LA that are free to homeless people. So you would just go grocery shopping and then load up like with frozen fruits, like anything they can just like easily like put together or like take with them. Also like sanitary pads and stuff. They have like an area for you to leave that. So that's something I'm like really looking into. I really want to do that because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like everyone should have access to that stuff because that's just like human necessity.
I agree. I live in Highland Park, which is in Northeast LA, and there's a couple of community groups that have set up those community like pantries, such as like they have like a refrigerator like on one block, and then down the street they have a couple more and stuff. And I'm really glad that those are there because beforehand we didn't have that. And Highland Park is getting gentrified. It's almost like finished getting gentrified. But I will say that because of the gentrification, these community services have been more widely available than they were before. And that's kind of like one good thing that came out of it. Yes, of course, like the property taxes go up and a lot of people have to move out. A lot of the native people have to move out. And it's really sad because those are like the people that I've seen growing up and the people that I want to like, help out in the future. But those services have been established here, which I'm really happy about too. So yeah, I do like the community pantry idea as well. And then anybody else?
What was the first part of the question again?
Oh, I talked about how since most things in the media are negative and like most of the recent news has been like about division in the country, what are some things that we can make or like small changes we can make for a more unified society?
Okay, I say this, I think knowing your history is like the best way to like fix just about every problem in society I can think of off the top of my head. I think personally what we can do is we can try to understand all the different groups of people that are in the United States and their histories in the US. Like I think, for example, like the xenophobia problem with the Latinx and Chinese community, or like not Chinese, but well, they've been here for a while, but the Asian community in California and especially in Los Angeles, I think can really be alleviated if people knew that, Latinxes have been here for a really, really long time. So have people of Asian descent, and specifically the Chinese community has been here for a really, really long time. So I think if we just do our part by just like reading up on all the different cultures, and like if we want to start small, start reading up on all the different little communities in LA, that would be a really great way to have better discussions and arm yourself when we're dealing with more problematic people or more problematic views.
Also, yeah, to go off of what Julia said, I agree. Like having discussions is very important for like supporting unity, because I think especially like our generation is very like strong, like whatever they believe, they're very strong in it, which is a good thing. But sometimes it can be to a point where they're so like focused on what they believe in that they're closed off to like what anyone else believes in. And like, I obviously, like, I don't agree with a lot of people, but it's a part of life to be able to openly listen and like try to understand, even though it may be hard, but not to like fight their hate with more hate, because that's why I think the country is at the point it's at, because hate is just being fought with hate and no one's really trying to like understand anyone, or like there's not enough grace, I feel like, if that makes sense.
I want to tell a story just based off what Miracle just said about how they're like people kind of just get engulfed with their political views, and it just causes this this really like hateful society to the point where people don't want to understand each other. I was a Spanish major my first semester at Cal State LA, and then now for my second semester I'm transitioning into political science. And one thing that I would notice in especially in my Chicano studies course, was that we studied different subsections of the Latinx community, and one of them was far right-winged Latinos who are stationed in Florida, specifically Miami. A lot of Cuban Americans, a lot of Venezuelan Americans who come from socialist countries, and they, convert to the right. And to me, it makes sense, to see them like kind of do that 360. They're like, okay, we don't want anything to do with socialism and like the left and stuff. And we would have group discussions on Canvas about like what we would see in the films that our professor would give us about these subgroups. And I remember this one girl who was a part of Turning Point USA, which is a right-winged club for university students. And she was from Venezuelan background. And a lot of people in that class started like hating on her, like they were like calling her like really mean words and stuff. And I was just so surprised. I was like, whoa, wait. It was like from my perspective, I saw a Latina woman who was able to voice her opinion, not be, scared of what others had to think, and, back up her theory with thoughts and like, evidence. And I wasn't mad. It was not my view. I'm a Democrat. I'll just say that out right now. Like I'm like on the left, but then she was like right, and I was able to see her perspective and like the causes for it, and I wasn't mad. But a lot of people in my class started, talking bad about her, and I was like, wait. Us as Latinas, we get repressed by machismo, which is really big in the culture, in the Hispanic culture. And I was like, for me to see a Latina who wasn't scared to speak her truth and her perspective was so powerful for me, and I wasn't, I wasn't trying to like focus so much on what she had to say, more as like why she had to say it, and I think that was pretty growthful of me. Like it made me grow a lot as a person. And because going into political science, I was like, okay, I need to know that there's different perspectives, and we have to respect each other's perspectives in order to go forward. We can't just hold on to our own perspectives and be like, no, this is it, this is the answer, and you can't tell me no, you can't tell me otherwise. So yeah, I just had to go off of that, Miracle, because I just see the division amongst it in my own classroom. So yeah. Danya has to go, so thank you. Yeah, bye. So yeah, so that's just something I want to share.
Danya said something. She said, so she had to go, but she said, this is an interesting conversation. Thank you for inviting me, Camilla, and then hope to hear about this again.
Yeah, I think oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Continue.
You're fine. Go.
I think, Camila, I think you brought a really interesting point up about having these conversations within the sphere of being in the Latinx community, because and like how Latinxes can be just so far to the right and so conservative, even though we're quite oppressed in so many different ways that you would think we'd be more to the left. But it's just really interesting to even recognize that they exist. I was on TikTok, And I made a comment about how people of color are being really ravaged by COVID. And someone was like, "Oh, how can you say that? You're a white girl." And I was like, "Hold up." Hold up. And I mentioned that I was Latinx, and I got so many responses that weren't even about like what I initially said, which was just the effects that are well substantiated with data on people of color and COVID, about how I used the term Latinx. And a lot of them were men, and they were Latino or Latinx, because I want to say Latinx, just being really upset that I used the term. And so I think that kind of might speak a little bit more to like the way more conservative aspect of our community. But I think it's still like really remarkable that they exist in the first place. So, and that they're so upset about like a term that's meant to be inclusive. So that's kind of what I thought about.
I'm going to interject here because we do have Omar who's joined the conversation. So Omar, what's your perspective on all this whole conversation with all these women around you? You must be overwhelmed. I see you like, I'm curious to see and hear your perspective.
On like just like COVID or
On
like
everything. It's time for Omar to speak up.
I just think that, concerning this whole COVID thing, I just think that it's wrong. Like, things like, paying rent and things like that have still continued to like have to happen when like, for example, one of my coworkers' dad died, and he was like, the main breadwinner kind of thing in the family. But no, these payments don't stop kind of thing. And then I was talking to my mom and she said, "Oh, the government's gonna give us like, 3 months for free or something like that back in 2020, right? A year ago." And I don't know, something about like, "Oh, but you're good if you didn't pay these months or something, you're gonna have to pay them all at the end, like, together." And I'm just like, "Wait, really? Like the government's gonna make you do that kind of thing?" So I've just been very like disappointed with the government. I'm disappointed before with the president. I'm still disappointed with the new one. I'm just disappointed like in kind of like all kind of, shapes, sizes, and forms kind of thing. And yeah, kind of just trying to, you know, make it through this, survive it. And I think that we're probably gonna be stuck here for another year, you know, and kind of sad, but it is what it is, right? And just trying to get through it.
How are you coping? How are you getting through it? That was a question that was posed earlier.
Um, so I guess what I do is my job, I'm a conditioning coach, so I have to like a PE teacher through Zoom kind of thing. So I'm like having to work kids out after like the regular Zoom sessions with class and everything. So that's like I get to work out there, and I think that takes a lot, like takes me like off edge kind of thing, because you know like you tend to like bicker a lot, with your family and all that. And I go walking, and then sometimes I might just like go out for like a drive kind of thing, and like buy myself food. And yeah, like it's Friday. That's probably what I'm about to do right now. Yeah.
You do a little bit of what they were saying earlier, right? They go for a drive, Amanda goes to Target, and and everybody goes into to different places. And what do you think your like, how do you feel about the future, like your job prospects moving forward when you're done with school and all of that? How do you feel about that?
um I just I just feel kind of like caged, like I want to get out there and do internships kind of thing. But I have high risk family members, so it's just like, I gotta kind of put them first before myself. And then I'm a selfish person by nature. Like I just know that. And I like it's just, I kind of want to move forward, but then no, I have to think about other people. And but I mean, of course, you love your parents and stuff, and yeah. So it's just I feel caged, I feel trapped. Like I feel like my life isn't moving forward. Like it's not like, I don't like I feel trapped. Like, and yeah, very often I feel that way. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Team, do you feel that way too? And what can you share with Omar?
Yeah, I can share. I think if you guys were in the conversation last semester during the winter, I just graduated in July. And so, Omar, I totally relate to the feeling of like just being caged or trapped. Like, I know some people who got hired like a week after graduation and they're set and they're happy in a full-time job. And then there's other people that I know that have been unemployed since March, and it's just like it's tough out there. You know, some people have kind of figured it out and some are still struggling, and I feel like I'm somewhere in between. Like I started a dog walking business, and that was kind of like my compromise where I can be safe right now and not have to, you know, I get to be outside, not around people. But I didn't think as a college graduate that that's where I'd be, you know, this many months after graduation. So I think it's really hard, that feeling of being trapped. And I've just been trying my best to feel like, you know, everyone is feeling like this. It's kind of like you said, it's what it is. You got to like put your family first and put your health first. And hopefully life will pick up again when this is over. And well, it will, not hopefully, it definitely will. But I mean, it's a hard feeling to sit with, like not being in control of your life. So I sympathize and I definitely feel that. So
Thank you, and thank you, Ms. Julia. Yeah.
Yeah, Julia said, totally agree with Omar. I literally feel like my life has been on pause since March 2020. Anybody else feel that way too?
I definitely feel that way. Cause like when stuff was open, I was always out. Like I was hardly ever home. I ate out like every day because I was always out. And like me and my friends, we always went to like shows, and like we would mosh. So you're just like around all these people, like literally like this, like elbow to elbow. And like now the thought of that is like so foreign. And like I think about like me and my friend always like just reminisce and like think about like all the shows that we could have seen this year that like were canceled, or like last year I guess, that were canceled, and then shows that we have seen, and like how we just miss like the like just that, I don't know, just that feeling of being around so many people, because like it was kind of comforting in a way, and like being out all the time was comforting because it felt like you were constantly doing something. And like sometimes I definitely feel like there's nothing to do. I see the same people, I go to the same places, I go to work, I go home, and like that's it. But like I have found more time to like be more creative with like the stuff that's around me. So like with decorating my room, or like painting, or like, you know, just trying to broaden my skills, learn a language or something, just so that way I don't feel so stuck and so like confined in one space.
And Vicky has her hand up.
Yeah, I just want to add on that. I feel like I also feel like that. Last semester when we went to online learning, I was so used to being on the go. Like I said, I like organizing, like planning ahead, knowing what to do. So I was on campus 5 days a week. I knew like at what time I had to go from work to school, from work to my internship. Like I had everything. And then when that was taken away from me, it was like my world was just like, okay, what's next? And not knowing what was next was really like messed up my mental health, because like I was so used to knowing what was next. And then I lost my job for a month. I lost my internship, which was my first, and it really sucked because like I was so into it and I loved doing what I was doing. And then school online, and then it was just so hard, which is like took a toll on my mental health. And then that's what I'm studying for. And it's like knowing the symptoms towards like a disorder is like, okay, you get to stop yourself. So I started realizing, like, seeing the things that I would do would be like, okay, you know, this is not normal. This is not what I would do normally. So like seeking help, like if you need the help, like go to someone that you could talk to. Like for my job, I work with freshmen, but I also work with advisors. So like reaching out to them was something that I did good. And then she technically made me realize, she's like, the reason you're feeling like this is because you've always had this control over your life. You knew what was next, and now that you don't know what is next, it's unbalanced you. And it's like seeking that help, knowing that it's okay to ask for help, because sometimes you need it, and sometimes you just need that reassurance that it's gonna be okay. And as cliche and as annoying that it sounds, because I don't like how when people tell me this, look at the bright side or the positive side of it, because like you've never really spent this much time with your family, and when have you ever spent this much time for yourself to do things that you like to do, even though it is like restricted? Like there's things that you couldn't do because you were always on the go. Like you didn't realize things like because you were always on the road or always here and there. And it did take a toll on me, but it's like I said, look at the bright side, the positive side, just take it step by step, and like hopefully it does get better soon.
Those are really wonderful words, Vicky. And Omar, I hope that helps a little bit. These are very unusual, difficult times for all of us. And, you know, it's very easy to say hang in there, right? But what does that mean when, as you said, you feel trapped, right? You feel confined in a very small space, four walls, right? Um, it's not easy, and we have to do what we can. We have to seek out the resources, is what Vicky's saying. We have to go walk those dogs, or we got to go out and do what we think is going to help our spirit, right, in these really difficult times, because better times will come, as Bethlehem said. They're coming. Now, in the last few minutes, I'm just going to share a really brief story with you. And that's that, you know, I had COVID back in March, and it was a really tough time for me and a really tough time for my family. I got it very early on. And as I was recovering, and we were in that quarantine period where, you know, the phone stopped ringing and it was silence. There was silence. No one was walking outside in my neighborhood, well, except the unmasked people walking their dogs. But for the most part, no one was out in the street. It was quiet. It was calm. And we're so used to, as Vicky said, going from one place to the next, to the next, to the next, knowing what's coming next. And for the first time in my entire life, I didn't really have to think about what was coming next, because all I had to worry about was getting better, getting well. And all of a sudden, it really was about me. It really was about my health. It really was about my family. It caused a lot of reflection, and I could rest, and I could, and I realized, oh my gosh, wait a minute, I didn't realize rest felt so good. It was so good. And that my body actually needed that, and that I needed to sleep. Because there will be a time, trust me, wherein you will have so much responsibility, and work will always be there, and family obligations, you know, not so much your parents, but your own someday. And so, you know, there will be time for that. Right now, I think we need to all be well, not just physically, but mentally. So to the extent that you can, to the extent that boredom doesn't overwhelm you, try to find those little spaces where you can rest and prepare and be ready for the amazing future that awaits you, because we're going to need people like you to move this country forward, right? And move our communities forward. So consider this like a little break, because you're going to have to hit that ground running once they open the gates, because COVID is gone. You will need to hit the ground running and live your life and live it well. So I leave you with those words. You guys are amazing. I'm not going to be the last word. I think the team is the last word, but I just wanted to share that with you, and look forward to hearing more wonderful conversations between you. So team, you want to close the conversation?
Thank
Camille?
you, Miss Evelyn.
You're welcome, Omar. Thank you for participating.
Sorry.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for everybody participating and joining us tonight. The team, I thank you guys for helping me put this together, for helping everybody put this together. I just have I'm just so grateful for all of you guys to be here tonight. And yeah, that's it.
And then also, Amanda put it in the chat again. If you guys have Facebook or know anybody that has Facebook, send them the link. And then also follow our Instagram. And you can DM us like any thoughts on our Instagram, like what you guys would like to see. Because it's really for you guys. So like whatever you guys need help with, like we're here with anything you guys have going on. And thank you guys for coming.
And to add on, you guys can also DM us with ideas for our next student roundtable. You can DM us with things that are going on in your life that you'd like to share. So I know like last talk we had someone who mentioned they had like a Zoom like play, like a theater play. And so she sent the link for that. So you guys can feel free to share anything like that, and we will post it on our page for you to share with our community. So yeah, just feel free to follow the Instagram and like or follow the Facebook page as well.
I want to say thank you guys as well. It was good hearing everybody's experiences, opinions, and perspectives on certain topics. So thank you.
Okay, everyone, have a good evening.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.